What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to install the OTB Halo LED turn signals today. So I've already installed these. I've wanted to do the installation process, I should say, so that way I know how to do it to tell you guys how to do it. So I'm going to take everything apart, show you how to do everything pretty much from scratch, and go from there. Okay guys, before we get into the removal of everything and before we start taking everything apart, I just want to show you guys what tools you're going to need. Very, very simple. I've never had to use this few of a tool, or tools I should say, on an install. So first things first, you'll need your Phillips head screwdriver. This is to install the new screws that are included with the OTB turn signals. You'll need a good pair of wire cutters, preferably sharp, so that way you're not having to fight with them. You'll also need some wire strippers. This also has a cutter built in, but this one's a little dull. That's why I have the wire snips. Also, this will help you take off the insulation from the wires and crimp the connectors all on the same go. So necessary and very useful. Then you'll need this little bitty 5/64. I'll try to get it up to the camera, hopefully make sure I get you guys to see this. So yeah, I had to adjust the focus manually because the camera was not liking it. But this is the 5/64 hex style drive. This will be used to install the new OTB screws that come with the LED turn signal kit. I have this in socket form. That way I can attach it to my T-handle. Very easy to use, but you can use normal T-handles if you want, but this helps me get a better drive on things and make things go a little bit quicker. And also all this stuff is, I believe, 1/4 inch drive, but use what you got. And then lastly, you will need this 5mm hex style drive. This will get your OEM boomerangs off. And again, let me put this up to the camera a little closer and I'll show you exactly what it is. But yeah, like I said, just a 5mm style drive, or I'm sorry, 5mm hex style drive. And again, like I said, this will be used to remove the OEM boomerangs. Let's get into it. Okay, now I want to show you guys what's all included in the packaging on the LED Halo turn signals. So first thing you're probably going to see is obviously the turn signals, but it's going to be this little bag filled with these 4 covers. These are the 4 black caps that are going to cover the screws that actually hold the boomerangs in place. Set those to the side. These are the actual screws. Let me manual focus this in so you guys can see it a little bit better. So I know it's tough to see, but these are going to be the little bitty screws that hold the black caps on the boomerangs once you put in the Phillips head screws. And to show you those, that's going to be these guys right here. You got 4 of them, just kind of like if you were going to install your OEM boomerangs, but these are Phillips, and these go back into the stock location of the boomerang bolts. Lastly, what I want to show you guys are these LED relays. Now, I know, like I told you guys, I already installed these, so the wire crimping is already done, but I will show you guys how to wire these, what color goes to what, and the best technique and tools I use to actually get these insulation off and these wires crimped together. Without further ado, let's start the installation. Okay guys, for this removal and install, you're mainly going to see me work on the right hand side of this bike. The reason being is the left hand side of the bike, the boomerang got destroyed in a recent accident, so no need to really show everything there. But everything I do on the right hand side is just like on the left hand side, and the wiring you won't have to worry about, because when we take this off, you'll get to see pretty much what I get to see when you take it off. So first thing you need to do is you need to take your 5mm hex drive and go ahead and remove these. Again, if I can operate my T-handle, this will save you a little bit of time. But also set these to the side, because you never know if anything happens where you have to use these again. I do it with all my parts except for the stock turn signals, which I'll get into later. So once you got those 2 bolts removed, set them to the side, put them off somewhere, and then now you can remove your headlight assembly. Again, I've already got the bolts removed on the right hand side, so you're going to take it off, and then you've got these 2 connectors here. You guys can probably see them. These are very easy to remove, takes just a little bit of wiggling, a little bit of muscle, and you can get these out no problem. And then boom, your headlight assembly comes out. Again, I've already removed this, but everything's going to pretty much be the same once I get into it. So here is the back of your headlight housing. Now, you can remove the headlight itself from the housing. You necessarily don't have to if you don't want to, but it does give you a little bit more room to install everything. But first things first, you got to unhook the turn signal. So mine here, since I have these flush mounts, the wires and connectors they came with, they're not locked in, so they pretty much come straight out. If you do have the OEM turn signals, you'll want to undo the clip there and it will come right out. So undo the wire from its holder, which we'll remove that in a second. And then you just want to slowly start working this out. This is plastic, it all moves pretty easy. Again, pops right out, nothing major. Be very gentle, feed the wires through, and there you go. Your stock boomerang does come out. Now, mine didn't stick, but you'll actually see this hole right here in the boomerang, and then you'll see this rubber, pretty much this rubber filler or spacer, if you will, that'll go into this area here to keep the boomerang from shaking or being loose. Make sure the rubber spacer or grommet doesn't get stuck in here. So when you pull it out, double check. If it is removed or if it's stuck in here, you might get a little image like that. Just remove the spacer, the bushing from the OEM or stock boomerang, and then just slide it back onto the headlight housing like so, because that is part of the headlight housing, which the OTB turn signals will use that space to mount up to. Now that you got your headlight out, I recommend, if you have a cement shop or a tile or something like that and you don't want your headlight getting scratched, like mine, which is a mix of crashing and probably doing this, lay down a towel so you've got a nice soft area to lay everything down that you don't want to get scratched. Now, here's the part where you're going to need the stock OEM turn signals. Here's where they come into play. What OTB recommends doing is cutting these as close as you can to the turn signal, and all you have to do is take your wire cutters, just reach up. All this has got the insulation on it, so you'll see a long black cord trailing from here. All you have to do is take your wire snips, set them flush with the turn signal, cut them off. So again, here's your 3 wires that just came off your turn signal. This is where you cut them. This is where you pulled back the insulation. There's your stock connector right there. And then as it travels up, there's the 3 wires. There's the wire connectors. There's the wire leading from the LED converter all the way down, converter, and then finally the plug to the actual boomerangs themselves. So the way you wire these up, there's 3 wires in these connectors, and then this is where this guy comes in handy. This is your stripper, your wire stripper. One thing I had to do is on the LED box here, you've got the 3 wires here. You've got red, white, and black. Black's obviously the ground. The white is the wire that goes to the wire with the white stripe. On the other side it will be blue. These will be blue wires. And then you've got the solid orange, which the red wire goes to. Very simple to wire up. Pretty much you can color coordinate it. The only difference is the black wires to the green wire. These 2 wires, again, white for the white stripe, solid red for the solid orange or blue wire. LED box on the wiring, I had to actually take off extra insulation here, so I had more movement in these wires. So all you would do is you take your wire strippers. Let me get this angle just right. I know the light's messing it up here. You actually get these wire strippers, put it in the appropriate size gauge, I should say, and then you start twisting, and you literally pull off that extra wire insulation. So that way you've got more room to work with. It's a little bit more convenient, and plus it just gives you more room to work with when attaching these connectors. And again, all you do to attach these connectors is these wire strippers. They have an actual nice little slot here and here to pinch these wires, or the connectors onto the wires. You just stick the wire in the connector. Again, see, it's very tight, so you gotta be careful how you do it. Put the wire connector into the pliers, clamp down really hard, give it a nice tug, make sure nothing's loose, make sure nothing comes apart, and now you have your plug mounted to the LED box that's ultimately going to attach to your boomerangs. So here is the blue connector. This is going to be the right side of the headlight. Again, you've got your 3 wires that I snipped out from the from the connector from the OEM turn signal. Again, you've got the 3 wires here. You've got a blue one with a white stripe. You've got a green one, and then you've got a solid blue one. Oddly enough, same color as the connector there. And then you've got the LED box, again, same colors. Let me untangle this here if I can. You've got a red wire, black wire, and a white wire. Again, the red wire, solid red, goes to the solid blue. The black goes to the green, solid colors. And then the white goes to the blue wire with the white stripe in it. Crimp those down, and you'll be good to go on that connector as well. If you do live in a wet environment, or if it rains more where you're at, or you're worried about getting moisture in these, you can put some electrical tape around these. I'm not really worried about it too much, just because they should be fine, and where I live, even though it rains, I'm not too concerned about it because I hardly ever ride in the rain. But if you want to, you can take some electrical tape and wrap around these. But test fit everything before you do that. That way, if something doesn't work or something's wrong, kind of like happened to me, you won't have to worry about undoing all the tape and redoing all your work. So just take your connectors, put them in like so, make sure you line them up properly. If you want to get some zip ties and maybe zip tie it to something down here, get some double-sided tape, you can do that as well. But what I like to do, or what I did I should say, I just tuck these pretty much behind one another, and then the cable that's going to connect to the OTB boomerang, I fed that through this main hole right here, where the mount's actually going to mount, and plus where the stock wiring ran through. So what I would do, obviously blue is to the right, orange is to the left, so make sure you don't get them confused, because now you have a little bit of extra wiring in here. So go ahead and feed them through just a little bit. It doesn't have to be much, but just enough to where you can connect them. And again, pretty much everything will kind of fall down into place. The way I said, I like to run these is I just pretty much set them down here, so when it's sitting up, it pretty much stays right where it's at. Oh, also, one last thing you can do is there's going to be these wire holders, or these wire clips. You see the clear tab sticking out there. You can actually remove those because you will not need them anymore. They just pop right out, and voila, they are gone. First thing you need to do is put your connections back together on the main harness. Again, you cannot get these mixed up because one has, I believe, six prongs, the other one has 4. So make sure you get those connected back together there. And then slide the cover back over it. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to fit the housing back onto the frame. It'll make a nice click or a snap when it gets on there. Now you can go ahead and hook them up. Again, this is going to be just kind of hooking them up to make sure everything works and everything lights up. Again, I'm not going to secure everything down just yet. I'm actually just going to put them on there and again make sure everything works. Also, these wires can be in the way just a little bit when you're trying to attach it to the headlight. Remember I was talking about that rubber bushing? The wire can get in the way, and it can allow this not to sit up flush. So you want to make sure you line that up properly as well. So now you just want to take your screws that come in the packaging of the kit here, and you just want to hand thread these while you hold all this together. It is a little bit hard, but you don't want to make sure that the boomerang comes undone from the headlight spacer. Let's do the other side. We're going to turn the bike on and make sure everything's hooked up. Once you got that done, go ahead and turn your bike on, and let's see if everything lights up. Got one there, and the other one's there all lit up. Also, it wouldn't hurt to make sure that the blinkers work. Alright, left side looks good. Alright, running lights back on. Let's double check, make sure the right side works, which it does. Super bright, super clean. Now that everything works, you've already tucked everything away when you were putting these on there. Now all you have to do now is, if you have any wiring that is kind of fell out or you need to tuck back in, do that. And again, if you have zip ties or two-sided sticky tape, that wouldn't be a bad option to hold it down. But now let's go ahead and install those end caps and we'll be done. Okay guys, and the last thing you need to do is you need to take the supplied little hex bolts here. The best way I like to install these is go ahead and take your hex drive socket, go ahead and feed the screw through the black cover, and go ahead and hand thread these. The reason I recommend hand threading these is if you hit them with a ratchet or a wrench or the T-handle starting off, you run the risk of a couple things. A, rounding out the socket or the bolt head, and you run the risk of cross threading these as well. So what I like to do is just finger tighten these. I run them all the way down until it's snug, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my T-handle. Once I do all this, I'm not even gonna turn them a quarter turn. I'm just gonna do almost half a quarter turn, and it will depend depending on how snug you got them with your fingers, but I just like to take it, one little turn there, one little turn there, so right at a quarter turn. And that's it guys, you all are done with the installation. Now it's time to go show these things off. And also guys, just as a quick note, you will need an LED relay flasher. If you haven't done an LED tail light or LED turn signals in the rear, or if you haven't done an LED blinker up front, make sure you get an LED relay, which you can also get from one of the vendors. So that's it. You've got your turn signals installed. They look great. They're super bright. All you have to do now is go ride. The great thing about these is I know I couldn't film this at night, but the benefit of these is visibility at nighttime is way greater. You're more likely to be seen because you've got the visual from the side and from the front, so you're more than likely going to be seen or made aware of. These things are great. They light up the area around you and they're a big hit at night. So a big thank you to OTB Prototypes for making these, for making me feel safer at night, for feeling a lot more comfortable riding in every condition. Pick yourself up a pair from Man in the Box or one of the other vendors below, and check out all their other products as well.